Hi everyone, welcome today. My name is Luke Knight. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CompareYourTech.com. Today I've got with me Tom Vanpol, who is the CEO and co-founder of Aloome. Aloome are a marketing agent that drives organic growth to online shops. Very innovative solution. So Tom's going to be telling us a bit about the story behind Aloome, how they got started, the benefits, and some of the key pain points that they see that e-commerce brands are actually having currently in the industry and how Aloome can actually help that. So I'd like to welcome Tom. Tom, nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you, Luke. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So hi, everyone. I'm Tom, co-founder, CEO of Aloome. A bit about myself. I've been in tech for 26 years by now. What's perhaps a bit unique about my situation is that I've only had two employers so far, but they've taken me on an incredible journey. I started at Progress Software in 1999, which sounds like a very long time ago, as an intern. Started working in technology as an e-commerce consultant. Moved on to integration, and then went to pre-sales, did sales in Belgium, Benelux, EMEA, and eventually global. And then after 14 years at Progress, I had the amazing opportunity to run the EMEA region for Aurea, which is a private equity company that bought some of the assets from Progress. During my 9 years at Aurea, they acquired and integrated multiple companies, CRM systems, email marketing, POS systems, retail ERP, you name it. And helping rebuild and restructure these companies has been a very, very insightful experience for me.
Imagine it sounds like quite an adventure. So you definitely know about that side of e-commerce and the building process of a business. So sounds good.
Yeah, and staying with companies for such a long time is a bit out of fashion, if I have to believe social media today. But I found that these experiences have taught me some really valuable lessons. If you stay somewhere for a decade or longer, you get to see how decisions play out over time. You get to experience the consequences of your actions and your decisions, and yeah, you have to live with those, right? And this is one of the
it's a
things
lot
that
of
I
trial and
wanted
error.
to. Yeah, it's one of the things I look forward to at Aloome is really building these decade-long relationships with customers.
Perfect. So, yeah, if you'd like to just explain a bit more about the purpose of what Aloome is, it's some of its features and benefits, and again, why you felt that you and your team wanted to build this product.
Sure. So before getting into the product, let me just paint a picture of what's happening today in digital commerce, right? We all know, or everybody agrees, that organic growth is the most sustainable path for an online business. And in fact, all the reports demonstrate still today that organic search is the #1 influence for online purchases. Ironically, though, most of the catalog of companies remains practically invisible for organic search. So if you look at studies, they reveal that for high intent searches, so these are really people that make it clear they want to buy something, over 50% of the average catalog is invisible, never shows up in results. And that figure jumps to 80% for lower intent queries. So people that are, getting acquainted with solutions or with brands. Those numbers are even worse when you look at voice search or AI search. And if you want to quantify this, Retail Economics published a study, I believe 1 or 2 weeks ago, where they calculated that in the UK alone, retailers lose about £6.7 billion annually by not addressing low-intent search queries, which is a staggering amount of money, right?
A lot of money, yeah.
Now, why does it happen? Well, if you're a retailer or a brand and you have about let's say 5,000 products. You can't possibly run ads on all of them, right? So that means you need an organic strategy, which means SEO. And scaling SEO is tough. It would mean, for 5,000 products, you would have to create pages for every product combination, for every channel, for every buying stage. And that would require, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of pages and search terms that you would have to create manually and then manage these, which is virtually impossible. And that's really the sweet spot where we're focusing on with Aloome. With Aloome, we've developed a platform that scales SEO for an entire product catalog. So customers can find your products no matter where they search, whether it's on Google via voice assistants or on AI, and throughout every stage of their journey, from the initial research right through the purchase phase. So we call that, every product, every channel, every stage. And the impact of that is really organic growth without having to rely on ads alone. And a catalog that becomes visible and findable for your customers.
That sounds great. Yeah, definitely. You saw that pain point, and your solution is obviously helping with that, which is great. So, Tom, what inspired you to launch Aloome?
So I launched Aloome together with my co-founder, Eric, whom I worked with at Aurea. And so during our time at Aurea, Eric and I were exposed to a number of acquisitions. Most of them were once great products built by companies that lost their way down the line somewhere by adding too many features or losing touch with their customer base. So that led us to creating this simple framework for what our business would be. First, we wanted to have a deep culture around customer success because we saw that all the acquired companies failed at that part. Second one was we wanted to have a laser focus on a high impact problem. And because we enjoyed selling or working together with marketing and salespeople, it meant that our solution, would drive revenue, would drive margin or productivity. And then thirdly, we wanted to focus on product instead of consulting. So we wanted to build a product that was easy to work with and required no to very little consulting. So these were really the boundaries. And we quickly ended up with SEO as our focus area, simply because it's a challenge that we understood. Because both of our spouses have an online business, we knew and still know the pain of dealing with SEO and scaling SEO from our own kitchen tables, right? Now, around the time that we were, that we decided we wanted to do SEO, AI was really changing the tech scene. And we saw a lot of new products coming up, but they felt more like features to us, like, chatbots or content generation tools, which basically, are an additional feature to an existing technology rather than a complete new technology. And to us, that wasn't the real potential of AI. When we look at AI, we see that AI really excels at detecting patterns and automating complex processes. So, we saw immediate use cases for SEO because SEO is so hard to scale manually, or it's even hard to scale with, conventional automation. I guess the moment that everything truly changed was when Eric and I met our technical partner, which we're still working with today, who displayed this unique combination of really deep SEO expertise and really deep artificial intelligence knowledge. And so that was really the missing piece. And, once we all got to know each other, within weeks, we went from concept to building our platform, and, Aloome was born.
That's a great story. Yeah, definitely when you've had that need, you've got the expertise, you've got the vision, and the scalability what's to come. So thank you, Tom. That's great. So yeah, large e-commerce brands often struggle with their inventory, with mismatches, either overstocking or stockouts. So they haven't got enough stock in their e-commerce store, well, on hold on their e-commerce store. So how does Loom help brands align with that search-driven traffic with real-time inventory?
Great question. So there are two aspects you need to consider in this. First, the biggest issue we see is that most of the inventory simply isn't being found online. And that creates a massive blind spot for retailers, right? When you don't have visibility on retail, or when your products aren't found, you end up with slow-moving products. You end up with inventory mismatches. But more importantly, you can't fix the issue because you don't have visibility into the problem. Secondly, once you establish that visibility, then you can take appropriate actions, right? So with Aloome, we ensure that all products are visible across every channel, across every buying stage of the customer journey. And that information is being fed back to our customers. And that creates an interesting dynamic because increased visibility helps move slow-selling stock. And it also gives retailers and brands the necessary insights they need for better inventory planning and forecasting. So,
perfect. Yeah.
We're making the entire catalog discoverable. And so that means that we're not just driving traffic, but we're driving the right traffic to the right type of products at the right time in the customer journey.
Perfect. And then they're obviously, like with Aloome, they're not missing those keywords which aren't appearing in SEO any of their content. So it gives that visibility, but plus it gives them that knowledge if they have got stock which is sitting there and can't be found, it's going to be visible, more chance of sales. So it sounds like an ideal tool. So Tom, how do you see AI shaping the future of that enterprise e-commerce search and product discoverability? Again, obviously with the Looms helping get that visibility, but with the AI aspect, is there any sort of areas you think that's going to have a bigger impact on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very hard to predict what the impact of AI will be for everyone. But it's safe to assume that, its impact can only be underestimated. In less than a year, AI went from wordsmithing to agents that are capable of reasoning, which is a massive change, right?
Yeah.
At Aloome, at this point, we are very bullish on AI agents, to the point that we're not only positioning our solution as an agent, but we've made an additional investment in the company a few months ago to completely redevelop our system into an agentic architecture. So for example, we now have multiple AI agents that autonomously work together. We've got workflows between agents. So imagine, having one agent that is creating and analyzing search terms based on industry and geography, where other agents are specialized in optimizing terms for, a different channel like AI or voice. We've got agents that monitor performance, on revenue and traffic, and feed info back to dashboards. And we even have agents that monitor the other agents and that optimize prompts that are being used to improve the entire system. So it's really, turning into a self-learning, self-guiding system, which is very exciting to see.
Yeah.
Now, today we've put, the necessary checks and balances in place. So by humans, just to make sure that, we produce the right quality and accuracy. And time will tell how long that will be necessary. But yeah, it's a very exciting space. Although I do believe that there's a lot of focus on the technology today, and maybe not enough on business outcome. And that's where we're trying to put our focus on. Like, sure, we've got all of the latest and greatest architecture in place, but the real topic is that we want to grow revenue for our customers. And so we've aligned our complete business model to that. Like, we're not selling technology, we're selling an outcome. And that's even reflected in our commercial structure. Like, Aloome is a completely free solution until the point that it starts generating additional revenue for you. And that's a fundamental change in, a software vendor-client relationship that I think that AI will drive more and more.
And yeah, I read an article recently just about results-based sort of SaaS solutions, which you will just be potentially paying for, like you say, on those results. So you seem like you're very ahead of the curve on that sort of way that a company's going to want to sort of utilize these solutions. And it's great, as you say, you've got the report, the bots are reporting back and saying, the efficiencies and what their tasks are doing and working together as well. So building that sort of task-based network of agents working together is, very, very cutting edge, especially for these e-commerce brands. I'm guessing are going to have tens of thousands of products that they're going to have to, once manually sort of look after or somehow how they done it. So this, yeah, sounds very cutting edge. So if you could give one piece of advice to e-commerce leaders struggling with their inventory and search optimization, what do you think that would be? Apart from obviously use Aloome, sounds like you're ahead of the game on that,
but well, sure. Well, to begin with, there's no such thing as magic as a silver bullet, right? If you want to be successful, it's not just a single strategy. There's always going to be a mix of organic and paid channels or marketplaces for some where it makes sense. But that being said, people can't buy what they can't find, right? That's my important message, or my message to e-commerce leaders. Make sure that you're discoverable across channels, not just on Google. AI is a real thing. And don't just focus on high intent buyers. It's really, you need to build a connection before customers are ready to purchase, because once they're ready to buy and they don't know you at that point and they don't like you at that point, the only thing you can do is compete on price, which is, a race to the bottom. So don't ignore organic, focus on being found, and connect with your audience early. That would be my message, my recipe for sustainable growth.
Sounds great. Good stuff. So for Aloome, what does the future hold? You building out your roadmap into other areas within e-commerce? And again, who would you say would be your ideal customer for Aloome as well? Someone wanting to get started with your solution?
Well, so I'll maybe tackle your last question first.
Okay.
Who is our ideal customer? I think the biggest difference that we can create at this point is with B2C retailers that have a large number of SKUs. So fashion retail and beauty are interesting because they are constantly changing, and that requires nonstop change management in SEO. I think that's where we have significant value that we can add. And in addition to that, parts retail. So think electronics, spare parts, or refurbished devices are very interesting to us because of the size of the catalog, right? I mentioned before retailers with 5,000 products. What we typically see is that in order to cover 5,000 products across all channels and across all stages, that can add up to roughly 400,000 search terms and landing pages per language, right? And you can't just copy paste languages. Every geography has a different behavior. So that's a massive thing to do if you try to do that manually. If I look at the future, well, we've got an exciting few months ahead because this weekend we're rolling out our Q1 release, which now fully optimizes SEO across all channels, so including AI. and including featured snippets. It's also going to be our first full agentic release. So as I mentioned, we've made this additional investment to rebuild the entire back office into an agentic architecture, making it self-learning. So we're very thrilled about that. Next month, we are launching our Shopify plugin. This was high on the request list from customers and prospects. And that means that, in about 3 weeks, we'll be covering all major e-commerce platforms. So we'll cover Magento, WooCommerce, and Shopify.
Big time for you then, big time of the year. That sounds really exciting, especially the Shopify one as well with their enterprise.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. If I look beyond Q1, so in Q2, we're launching page clustering, which will be a real game changer. So at this point, we're generating search terms and landing pages individually, but in our Q2 release, we'll be grouping them into meaningful clusters. So all of these pages will be combined together, linked together around specific topics. And that can be a specific style or season or color, or it can be around a topic like sports. And what it does for customers is that it makes it much easier for customers to discover products on a site, and it makes it much easier for search engines and AI engines to identify you as a leader in a specific domain. So that's going to be a very exciting step forward.
No, I'm really excited to see. We have to catch up again later in the year as well to see the progress, because it feels like your massive launches ahead, which is really exciting. So if a brand would like to get started with the Loom, how is the setup process? You mentioned previously it's results driven for the pricing, but with the actual technical side.
So there are 2 ways you can get started immediately with the Loom. One is you can, self-register via the website, enter your details. Once you've done that, you get access to our Magento client or WooCommerce client, and within a few weeks, our Shopify client, which is basically a plugin you have to install on your e-commerce platform. You'll then receive an activation key, and that's it. So that's it's a max 30-minute process, and you get started. Second option is that you can have an assisted setup with the team. So in that case, we'll first have an assessment where we'll walk you through your website, your current performance. We'll talk about how we can improve your performance and what the timeline will be. And then the team will assist you with the configuration and the installation. In both scenarios, though, once you're onboarded, we're going to have regular contact to share, of the progress that Aloome is making for your shop, so that you have continuous visibility on the results that we're producing.
Perfect. Good stuff. Yeah, it's exciting times ahead. So thank you so much, Tom, for your time today. I'm really excited to see what the futures hold, and I'll be keeping an eye on all of the latest releases as well. And if you need anyone to try and do any testing, I'm always happy to help as well. So I really appreciate your time. And everyone, if you'd like to try Aloome, it's aloome.com. You can go, as Tom said, and register and try it out. You definitely won't be disappointed if you've got a large inventory on your e-commerce store. So thank you, Tom, again for your time, and I really appreciate it. And we'll speak to you soon.
Great. Thanks for having me.